Hey, what is up, guys? You're watching Epic Pokemon TCG. In today's video, guys, we're going to be taking a look at an Aerodactyl Malamar deck, or straight Aerodactyl, I don't know, whichever one you want to call it. This is going to be pretty much kind of a straightforward version of the list, nothing too crazy in here. I have another list that I'm currently working on that has Giratina in it because for some reason I really like Giratina partnered up with Aerodactyl. I don't know why. But anyway, Aerodactyl is a really fun card. It's a one prize attacker that has a pretty awesome second attack, which is Fossil Fangs. Its first attack, of course, is Supersonic, and it just confuses your opponent's Pokemon. But Fossil Fangs does 90, and then if you don't have any GX or EX Pokemon on your bench, it does 90 more damage, which means this is going to be a grand total of 180 damage on a stage one that only gives up one prize, which is actually pretty awesome. No joke, this is really cool. Also, something I want to note here is the 130 HP. So, that means Zoroark decks are going to have a little more trouble one-shotting you. They need like Devour Field or whatever, which is actually pretty cool. So this deck pretty much like the idea behind it is you're going to use Malamar with Psychic Recharge to attach a energy from your discard pile, a Psychic one specifically, to one of your bench Pokemon. So whenever one of your Aerodactyl goes down, you have a way to replenish your energy. And since Psychic Fang, or yeah, Psychic Fangs. Wow. Fossil Fangs takes three of any energy. That means you can just kind of throw energy back on Aerodactyl, whether it being one Psychic and a DCE, two Psychic, and then a Psychic from your hand, just whatever. It's just a really good way to get your field set back up. But we're also going to be playing Tapu Koko in here. This is going to help out with the whole Malamar consistency thing here. Basically, you need a way to get your Pokemon out of the active spot after your Psychic Recharge to bring up the Pokemon you're wanting to attack with. And also on top of that, we run DC in this deck anyway, so Flying Flip just kind of makes sense. That and it can soften up Pokemon so that way, Aerodactyl can come in and sweep up stuff later. And just honestly, Tapu Koko is just a really solid attacker and just a really solid card altogether. That free retreat is just going to help you basically have just like a little more smoothness whenever it comes to like playing. The same goes for Guzma. I mean, you're able to bring up something up off the bench and do 180 plus to it, depending if you have a choice band or not. That and you can just psychic recharge an Aerodactyl on the bench and just bring something up, which is really nice. So we have a 3-3 line of Malamar, a 4-4 line of Aerodactyl, and then of course we have Ditto. Ditto is just pretty much going to serve as another unidentified fossil, or it's going to serve as a Inky. I say Inky because Inky's fun to say. But yeah, Ditto is very, very helpful. The only bad thing about unidentified fossil is you can't start with it. So, we have stuff in here that basically you can start with, like Coco, Inky, and Ditto and such. We're also going to be running one Tapu Lele, the Psychic one with Magical Swap. You do 180 damage per attack, and you never know late game you might be able to just kind of end the game or just surprise your opponent. Because I mean, you can slap this down and just Psychic Recharge once to it, attach from hand, and then just go from there. I mean, it's really easy to just to surprise your opponent and just it's a good card. That and Sidewave, you never know when that could be helpful. But Tapu Lele definitely is a card that could be very handy in a lot of different situations. And then a card that apparently is getting a lot of drama in the Pokemon TCG for some reason. I guess people got tired of crying about DC, but anyway, Marshadow has Let Loose. So basically, this is just a judge. Whenever you play this down, each player shuffles their hand into their deck and then draws four. This is a really good way to just kind of disrupt your opponent, or if you have a really bad hand or something like that, you can replenish your hand or disrupt your opponent, just whatever. And you can use Shadow Punch. I don't recommend it. I mean, hey, if this hey, if it comes up, it comes up, but that's definitely an option there. So that is going to do it for the Pokemon. It's a very simple Malamar deck. If you played Malamar decks, you know how to play this deck. Now we're going to get to kind of the fossil side of it. So unidentified fossil, basically you just play this card down and it's a 60 HP basic Pokemon, and then you can also discard it, which is also another really awesome thing. So if your Aerodactyl goes down, you can bring up unidentified fossil, discard it after you do all your psychic recharging and stuff, and then you can bring up an Aerodactyl. That's just something really neat that you can do. And something really awesome that they actually made for fossils is fossil excavation map. So this card honestly is really, really helpful. I got three here on Pokemon TCG Online because I was testing three. But honestly, this just basically makes it to where you essentially have six unidentified fossil, which is really nice. Or you can just search one from your deck, just whatever the situation calls for. Ditto really helps out a lot as far as just like unidentified fossil and needing it and everything. But basically, you can choose one of two effects. You can either search your deck for unidentified fossil, or you can put one from your discard pile into your hand. That is very, very helpful, just because of the fact that besides Order Pad and Alolan Ninetales, which would completely ruin your entire strategy, there's not necessarily a very consistent way to search out an unidentified fossil. So fossil excavation map is definitely a very good route. And some other searching cards we have in here is Mysterious Treasure. This can you just discard a card, search for a Psychic. So you can search for your Malamar line, you can search for Marshadow, Tapu Lele. Also, you can get a Psychic in the discard pile, so that means you can Psychic recharge it later. And the same goes for Ultra Ball. You can just get some stuff in the discard pile, and also on top of that, you can search for anything in the deck. So very, very helpful. I kind of went for a 3-2 split as far as that goes. I mean, it just really depends on your personal preference. Another way to kind of speed up the process throughout your deck is going to be Acrobike. This is just a really good way to kind of skim through your deck and try to get some stuff. You may hit like a useful card and a Psychic Energy, and then you just throw the Psychic Energy in the discard pile to get it back later with Psychic Recharge. And of course, Rescue Stretcher is going to allow you to get your Aerodactyls and such back. Very, very helpful card. And honestly, that is going to do it for the trainers, besides, of course, Choice Band, just allowing you to go from 180 to 210 whenever you're attacking an EX or GX. That is very, very helpful. And yeah, that is going to do it for the trainers. Now we're going to get to kind of like, I'm just going to say generic supporters. So we've got 4 Cynthia, we have 1 Erica's Hospitality, we've got 3 Guzma, which can very, very, very much help out with your whole Psychic Recharge strategy. And on top of that, maybe you were short some damage somehow, because, 180 plus just isn't enough these days. And then we have Lily, and we have Shrine of Punishment to kind of round out the trainer stadium item side of things. Supporters, you guys know what I mean. So of course, since the whole like strategy is you don't play EX or GXs, why not Shrine of Punishment? I mean, that's a perfect stadium. Increase some damage, put a little more pressure on your opponent. I mean, your one prize attacker is doing an insane amount of damage anyway, so why not just make it even more, top it off a little bit. But honestly, the supporter line is pretty generic, and I feel like that's the best route to go. And then we're going to finalize the deck with 8 Psychic Energy and 4 DC. I'm going to be completely honest, this deck is actually a lot of fun to play, especially like when you get everything completely going and you're consistently hitting for 180 plus with Aerodactyl. It's actually a lot of fun to play, and honestly, this is one of the decks I really enjoy playing here on Pokemon TCG Online. I actually have a gameplay up for it, which I'll put at the end card of this video, and I have a couple more that I'm going to be uploading here in the near future. So if you guys do want to see those, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. And I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. It's a lot of fun, I promise you guys. This is kind of a bare bones, you can change up stuff kind of deck, which is normally what I try to upload, is stuff that it's very changeable for someone in their personal preferences. But thank you guys all so much for watching. Take care. I love you. Have a fantastic day. And as always, guys, this is Epic Pokemon TCG signing out.